Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be reviewing The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. And I'm sure a fair number of you watching this have probably heard of this book or H.G. Wells. I believe H.G. Wells is like the person who first coined the term time machine as well. I just finished The Time Machine. Well, I finished it a couple weeks ago. I'm filming this late. But The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. So, it was written in 1895, and it is about a man who was only known as the Time Traveler. And we never actually get to hear his real name. He's always referred to as just the Time Traveler. So he builds a time machine, and then he travels into the future. He travels into the year 800,701 AD, which is quite a long ways off. And he encounters many strange things in the future, and he survives a week there, and then goes back to the modern times, to the present time, which, when this book was written, was late 19th century. And then he tells the story of his adventures in the year 800,701 to a bunch of his friends. And in the beginning of the story, it's told in the first person from one of his friends' perspective, and he's just coming back from having travel into the future, and then he tells a story, and that, makes up the book. So, like, the entire book is him telling his story to a bunch of his friends. So yeah. And what the time traveler encountered in the future, I did not really expect the future to be. Like, what he encountered in the future is way different than what I pictured the future being like. If the world lasts until 800,701 AD. And this is also, like, a very short book. It's only, It's only 115 pages. So the average reader could probably just finish it in a couple of days. It took me about 3 hours to read it. And I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a pretty solid book. And really short. The average reader could probably finish it in just a couple of days. It is only 115 pages. And in those 115 pages, it is incredible how much detail H.G. Wells is able to put into such a short book, because within this very short book, there is so much detail, and you can really tell that H.G. Wells put a lot of time and hard work and effort into the story, and you can tell that he really thought out his story, thought out everything. A really well thought out story. And if you're wondering if it's, like, hard to read since it was written so long ago, I'd say that for the most part, it's not a very, hard read. There are a few, like, analogies that are brought up that are a bit hard to understand, and that you kind of have to, read through several times and then think it through to actually get what it's trying to say. But then in the beginning, so my most favorite part was probably when the time traveler is time traveling into the future. So, like, he starts up his time machine and things start moving in fast motion. He's going forward at, like, I think, is it like a year a second? And then, like, his house goes down, cities are raised up and then they go back down. The sun and moon are coming interchangeably. It's really fascinating how he traveled through time. I felt like I was there with him experiencing time travel. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part. This was a really fascinating book. My least favorite part, and I didn't exactly not enjoy this least favorite part, it just wasn't as good as the rest of the book, was like the first 5 pages where they were just talking about the concept of time travel in mathematics, and most of it just flew right over my head because I'm not a very mathematical person at all. So just listen to this on page 2. You might understand this. I don't understand it at all. I'll just read it to you quick. So the time traveler's talking about time travel, and he's like, clearly, any real body must have extension in 4 directions. It must have length, breadth, thickness, and duration, and this all makes sense. But through a natural infirmity of the flesh, which I shall explain to you in a moment, we incline to overlook this fact. There are really 4 dimensions, 3 which we call the 3 planes of space, and a 4th time. There is, however, a tendency to draw an unreal distinction between the former 3 dimensions and the latter, because it happens that our consciousness moves intermittently in one direction along the ladder from the beginning to the end of our lives. So maybe that makes sense to you. It doesn't make any sense to me in the slightest. But there's not much to say about this book, honestly. It's really short. I really enjoyed my time with it. And I do want to reread it sometime, but it'll be like 10 or 20 years into the future when I've completely... future, no pun intended. If I do reread it, it'll be 10 or 20 years into the future, because I really think you'll get the best experience out of this book if you go into it completely blind, with no expectations, with completely unknowing of what's in store for you, which is what I did, and I think that's why I really enjoyed it. But if you're watching this video, then I guess you're not exactly going into it blind, but yeah, I think you'll have a fun experience to this. If this book appeals to you, it's pretty short. You can read it, and even if you do read it and end up like hating it, it's not devoting too much of yourself to it, because it's only 115 pages. So like, even if you do dislike it, it's not committing too much of your time into. But it was a pretty good book. I really enjoyed it. The ending, though, I mean, the ending was satisfying because the time traveler comes back, obviously. The main story is resolved, but then another small thing or big thing, depending on how you look at it, comes up, and that just left me feeling very unsatisfied. But at the same time, the ending was sort of satisfying, but also not. I don't know how to explain it. That probably makes no sense. If you've read the book, then you'll understand what I just said, but I thought it was pretty good. Not the best. Some parts were making me yawn, but it was not very bad at all. Overall, it was a fun experience, and if you do dislike it, it's not putting too much of your time into it. But I think you really will enjoy it. It is a really good book. What the time traveler encountered in the future, I feel like, is not really possible. I mean, this book was written like 150 years ago or so, but like what the time traveler encountered in the future, I just don't think will ever happen in the future in 800,000 years if the world survives that long. But that's not going to take away the enjoyment of this book. But I think H.G. Wells did a really good job with this book. You can tell that everything was really well thought through, and I thought it was a pretty solid book. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. So, and even if you do read it and end up not liking it, it's not taking up too much of your time. So, there, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I do hope you will pick up this book, because it is really good. It's very short as well. Very short, easy read. But thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed watching it, please hit the like button, but don't hit it too hard. Hit it lovingly, hit it kindly, and please subscribe to my channel, as I do lots of book reviews such as this one, and you know, basically anything else related to books. And I have something planned for 1,000 subscribers. I'm still not entirely sure if it'll work, but I might try it anyway. I'm getting close to 1,000 though, so anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Farewell. Oh, and one more thing, I have a video coming up tomorrow on April 1st, and I just wanted to warn you about it. Do not trust a word I say in it, alright? That's all I'm saying. Do not trust a word I say in it. It's tomorrow on April 1st. Do not believe a word I say.